We have 18 brachas in the Shemoneh Esrei, in the Amidah, 18. And the Gemara in the Bavli, the Gemara brachas speaks about why 18. So the Medrash cites the Gemara, but it gives a number of other reasons why you have 18. So the Medrash says, how many brachas do we say every day? Every day we say Shemoneh Esrei brachas, the Amidah. Lama Shemoneh Esrei. Why? Amar Rav Shmuel bar Nachman kereg Shemoneh Esrei pomim she'avos ksuv matorah. The avos, the patriarchs, we're speaking about Avraham and Sarah, the three of them together are mentioned 18 times in the Torah. So the 18 brachas correspond to the 18 times that Avraham and Sarah are mentioned in the Torah. Harishin shebehem. The first of the 18, it says, Lokim poka yifkod eschem. This is regarding the Geula from the Helo eschem in the Oretz Azos Oretz Nishbal Avraham and Yaakov. Va'achron, that's the first of the 18, and the last of the 18. Vayom Hashem Elai Zos Oretz Hashem Nishbati Avraham and Yaakov. That's the last of the 18. That's at the end of the Dvarim. V'miyom Lecha Odom Rei Harei Shazrei, but there's a 19th time it's mentioned, because the Torah says, Elokei Avraham Avicha Elokei Yitzchak. It says, Hashem is the God of Avraham, your father, Elokei Yitzchak. It's not one of the counted. Shen Yaakov Nimni Mon. It's only, we have all three of them mentioned. In that pasuk, only Avraham and Yitzchak are mentioned, Yaakov is not mentioned. But Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov are mentioned 18 times, so the 18 brachas in the Amidah corresponds to the 18 times the others are mentioned. Okay? Rabbi Yochanan keneged Shemoneh Osor tzivum shebemishkan shein b'sof sefer ve'elu shmos. V'zhein kashetziv Hashem es Moshe. When Hashem told Moshe to build the Mishkan, Vasli Mikdash v'shachan b'socham, kashetziv Hashem es Moshe is mentioned 18 times. So the 18 brachas correspond as Hashem had commanded Moshe. Shemoneh Esrei pomim. Reb Shimon Omar keneged Shemoneh Osor chol yoshev b'shedro. That the Gemara says in brachos. There are 18 vertebrae in the spinal column. So the 18 brachos correspond to those 18 vertebrae. Because when a person prays and you bow, when you bow, you have to bow to the point that at the waist, that the vertebrae, they separate themselves. The space. But David says, all my bones express the concept of who is as great as you. If you count the chapters in Tehillim, the first 18 prokim, and the 19th is Yad Hashem Yom Tzora. Hashem will respond to you on the day of your tzora, of the day of your Loma Tana B'Tefillah. Also mean if you pray 18. Then Hashem will respond. This again, the Gemara Baruch says, in Hovad Hashem b'nei Mizrul, the Hovad Hashem b'nei Elim, what we put back to Sefer Torah on Shabbos, the name of Hashem is mentioned 18 times there. To correspond to those 18 times, okay. That's so the Medrash says a number of reasons. The Avos, the building of the Mishkan, Kashetziv Hashem es Moshe. That's why it's mentioned 18 times. Okay, and plus the other reasons which are mentioned in the Bavli. There's a Bal HaTurim in the Tochacha in Kisovo. The Bal HaTurim says in the Tocha in Kisovo it says Yakha Hashem. Hashem will smite you. Hashem will smite you is mentioned 4 times in the Tocha. So the Bal HaTurim says, why is it mentioned 4 times? To correspond to the Arba Golius, the 4 exiles. The Tocha is not only at the time of the generation that it was spoken to, but the 4 exiles to the end of time, the Tocha has relevance. That's Yak Hashem. Hashem will smite you. That's what's mentioned 4 times. Okay. Then the Bal HaTurim says over there, so posuk in the Tocha, it says, "Ve'shivcha Hashem Mitzrayim ba'onios." Hashem will bring you back to Egypt in boats. Although I said to you, you will not go back there, and you'll be sold as slaves and maidservants. So over here, there, the Bal HaTurim says, "V'shivcha Hashem." That will be time of Yirmiyah, Jeremiah the prophet. Now, the name of Hashem is mentioned in the Tochacha and Kisavo 26 times. You understand? 26 Yud Kei Vav Kei. The numerical value Yud Kei Vav Kei is 26. The name of Hashem in the Tochacha is mentioned 26 times. Keneged Chovav Shemesh et Tefillah Shutches. The name of Hashem is mentioned 26 times in the Shemoneh Esrei. Here, why is it mentioned 26? Here, the name of Hashem Tocha is mentioned 26 times, and in Shemoneh Esrei it's mentioned 26 times. Chutz Birchas Haminim, except for the bracha of Malshinim, because that was added later. Lahogin Nichovav Shemo Shem Tocha. Why do we have 26 times the name of Hashem mentioned in the Shemoneh Esrei? To counter the 26 times the name of Hashem is mentioned in the curses. To be protected from those curses, to evoke the midas arachnim, we mentioned in the Shemoneh Esrei 26 times the Shem Hashem. This is the Bal HaTurim over there. Okay? So now, what does the Amida do? It corresponds to the 18 times Avraham and Sarah mentioned in the Torah. Kashetziv Hashem es Moshe is the Mishkan. So what we're speaking about over here, we find that all the korbanos, what do we bring those specific species? Chesed, the ox, the sheep and the goat, because we find every one of those species. Avraham hosted the angels with the calf. That's the shor. The keves is what is the akedah. The a's are the goats that Yaakov was told by his mother to take 2 goats to be able to make delicacies for Yitzchak to receive the blessings. So we see that anything that has to do with rachmim, to evoke rachmim, to put us in a safe place, it's all connected to the Davar HaKadoshim. Everything. That's what it is. We have 18 times Avraham and Yaakov mentioned in the Torah. 18 times you have 18 brachos. The concept of kapora, of atonement, karbonos, what are the species? The species will represent the hospitality of Avraham Avinu, the Akedah, which is the ultimate, which quells the prosecution. The source of why we're able to survive Esau, because Yaakov received the blessings. How did he receive the blessings? It was through the goat, because his mother made delicacies for Yitzchak, and that's when he received the blessing, the bracha. And that's what he said, Akol Kol Yaakov Yidayim the Esau. So everything revolves around the Davar HaKadoshim. But this is to evoke Rachmim. Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is the name of Rachmim, in the Tochacha, if we fail bad enough, God forbid, the Rachmim becomes din, becomes justice. So how do we count it the 26 times the name of Hashem is mentioned in Tochacha? We find the name Yud Kei Vav Kei mentioned 26 times. The name of Hashem mentioned 26 times in the Shemoneh Esrei. The counter, the mitzvah din. Okay? Just to give you an understanding. Yachva Hashem is mentioned 4 times in the Tocha. So the Bal HaTurim says, why? Because Tocha has relevance to the 4 exiles. Now, I once mentioned in Rav Kalatsky that why were there a number of prophets involved in authoring the Amidah, the text of the Amidah? So he explains that because the words and the phraseology in the Shemoneh Esrei is to address any conceivable issue till the end of time, till the coming of Mashiach. So if that's the case, that's why you need Nevi'im, because the Navi, only Navi has an understanding of the future and how to activate certain forces that are needed to address every conceivable issue till the end of time. Therefore, a number of Nevi'im, Chagiz Chaim Malachi, were part of the group who actually authored the Shemoneh Esrei. But it's very good. Yak Hashem. 4 times it says Yak Hashem, Hashem will smite you, corresponds to the 4 exiles. The Chaf of 26 times that Shem Hashem is mentioned in the Amidah because it's to counter the Tocha. So the Tocha has to counter what? Every conceivable problem till the end of time, because it's to counter the 4 exiles. As a result of that, you needed the Nevi'im there to choose the words and the phraseology that those words or those expressions should activate those forces which are needed to evoke the Rachmim through the 26 times the Shem Hashem mentioned. We always discuss the whole concept of milah, the mitzvah of milah that was given to Klal Yisrael. And Avraham Avinu was only able to father the patriarch at the age of 99, because only then was he given the mitzvah of milah to remove the foreskin. And that's when he had the name change from Avram to Avraham. Avraham, Rashi cites the Chazal, the Medrash, is B'gematria Ramach, 248. He became that total person when he was circumcised. So we explained many times, which the Chaim cites in Parshas Tazria, that what is the orla, what is the foreskin? It's the expression of the evil which is contained within the fruit of the Eitzadas. When he was told to remove that, he was able to minimize the effect of the Eitzadas, and therefore he has another level of clarity and control over his life, which the non-Jew does not have. A non-Jew circumcised himself doesn't have the effect. But because Avram was able to achieve within himself a certain level of advancement within spirituality, he was ready for real time, that he's able to remove it. Because when he removed that, that was removal of an impediment, and now we can have a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that was the name change, and that's why only then was he able to father the patriarch at the age of 99. Okay?
Rabbi?
So wait, what does the Arla represent? Evil on the absolute level. That's the reason we mentioned in the past by a child. When you name a child, a boy, you don't make the name public until the Arla is removed. Because since the name of a child speaks the destiny of that child, we don't want the destiny to be associated with the Arla, which is an impediment to whatever the destiny is. Because the Arla is Ra, represents evil. It's only after the Arla is removed, only then does the name become public knowledge. But the parents, when they discuss among themselves, they don't make it known to other people what the name is going to be by a boy. Okay, now, it says over here, there's a pasuk in the Torah, pasuk at the end of Parshas Yisro, wherever you mention my name, I will come to you, I will bless you. Omar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Uma mishu hayezovech oda ushlomim. A person who sacrifices a burnt offering or a peace offering. Ani niglo of the vorcho, as it says in the pasuk, I will come and I will bless you. Avram shezovach es atzmo lefonai. Avram who sacrificed himself before me. Allah kama. There's no question he's deserving. I should come and bless him. Now, there's Medrash. David Mel says in Tehillim, Olachna Olecha Ragna Kolayom. We die for you every day. We die for you. So what does this mean? We die for you every day. So Medrash says that the Jew was circumcising himself is like dying for Hashem. That's Olachna Ragna Kolayom. We die for you. So here the Medrash says this clearly. If you bring a korban, Hashem says, I will come and bless you. Avram shezovach es atzmo. Avram who sacrificed himself. How did he sacrifice himself? He circumcised himself. That's the equivalent of sacrificing himself. Kach nemar Vayeira elav Hashem. That's when the beginning of the parsha says Hashem appeared to him. Because for the korban, Hashem comes to you. So definitely when you go and you Zovech Atzmo, he comes to you. Omer Avacho. Okay, it says over here. Avraham on that one day circumcised 318 people. Avram literally, there was a pile of foreskins piled up like a mountain. 380 people were circumcised. The Nor Shel Dam Yotzimi Beso, and there was a river of blood flowing from his house. Okay, Hashem says to the angels, let's pay a sick visit. He's taking the malachim with him to pay a sick visit to Avraham Avinu. So the angels say to Hashem, you're going to a location of filth. You're going to a place of like blood, which is infectious disease. It's something which is disgusting. You have the orla, the foreskins, and the blood flowing over there. It's not appropriate to go there. So Hashem says to the Malachim, I swear on your existence. To me, it's more pleasant, the blood of those foreskins, than mire and incense, which is brought in the Beis HaMikdash. I will go to the mountain of mire. What's the mountain of mire? Avram was called Mor. Hashem says, the Malach says, this is disgusting. This is putrid, blood, all this. Hashem says, you don't understand how this is, to me, more pleasant, more fragrant than what? Than mire. What's it all about? When Avram was able to remove that foreskin, he achieved a level of advancement in spirituality. He was able to expunge from himself that level of evil of the Eitz Hadas. Now the world is able to address the original objective of creation, which was what? Not that the impediment shouldn't be there. So therefore, Hashem, what the Malachim said, this is disgusting. Hashem says, this is the ultimate. This is the ultimate. And Avram is the equivalent of a mountain of mire. Because it's only through his achievement, spiritual advancement, was he able to achieve this level, that he was able to remove that and bring about that level of removal of evil from himself. Avram lifts his eyes and he sees three men standing near him. Vayorats. He saw and he ran. The Grossum is the third day after circumcision. He's 99. He's 99 years old. As he was running, the wound was still a new wound. The blood was, driplets of blood was dripping from the wound when he ran towards the Malachim. Could you imagine? You know, there's a Gemara in Shabbos. The Gemara tells us in Shabbos that Rava, he was immersed in learning, and his heel was on his finger, and he was bleeding. So there was a heretic there. He says to him, you know, you Jews, you haven't changed in all these years. Just as at Sinai, you people behaved irresponsibly, that your mouth spoke before your ears listened. Your behavior is no different. Here you're hurting yourself. You don't even realize what you're doing to yourself. You're so immersed that your heel is pressing on your finger and you're bleeding. You're wounding yourself. You people, nothing has changed. I mean, Rava didn't realize that he was so immersed in the Torah, he didn't even realize he was bleeding. So Rava answered him. He says, that wasn't irresponsible. It has to do with trust. We trusted Hashem. Therefore, we didn't have to ask him what it's all about. Whatever it is. Avram is 99. The wound is fresh. the blood is dripping and he's running. He doesn't even realize that blood's dripping out of his body. He's so committed to do the will of Hashem, he's totally disconnected from what's happening. But what does that say? He's consumed with doing the Ratzon Hashem. We mentioned why was he so in pain that he couldn't do hospitality? Because every person Avraham engaged with, who was a pagan, after he engaged with him in this dialogue, he became a monotheist. So every moment he wasn't involved in hospitality, it's an ongoing Chil Hashem. When he engages, he's minimizing the Chil Hashem. He's chipping away at the Chil Hashem. So when he saw now he has an opportunity to take a pagan and convert him into a monotheist, he's excited. To what degree? To what degree he doesn't even realize he's bleeding. And therefore it has that special value. To what degree do you esteem Hashem that you cannot tolerate Chil Hashem, that you don't even realize you're bleeding? Amalek HaKadosh Baruch Hu, B'schar chayecho, a reward for your life. In the schus of the two bloods, I will protect them from their enemies. Shenemar, I will pass this time in Max Bekoros. I will pass over them, and I will see you wallowing in your bloods, plural. Shnei domim, shnei mevorach, b'damayich chayi, right? B'damayich chayi, b'damayich chayi, zeh dam Pesach. That's the blood of the Korban Pesach. V'omelach b'damayich chayi, zeh dam milah. Two bloods, the dam Pesach, dam milah. Vayav rotz l'osam. It says he saw and he ran towards them. Omelach HaKadosh Baruch Hu, b'schar sholish mitzos sheratzto. In the merit of 3 runnings that you ran, and the Oretz Lefnecho Sholosh Ritzos B'Shas Matan Torah. When the Torah will be given to Klal Yisrael, I will be the equivalent of that. Where do we find Sholosh Ritzos B'Avrom? It says Vayav Vayoretz and cross. Initially, when he saw them, he ran towards them. Then it says Velaboka Rotz, when he went to slaughter when he chose the calf for the angels, for the guests, he ran again. They milah so. Ma part of the bottom of Sinai. What do we find by Sinai? Shenemar, V'yomar, Hashem Sinai bo. Hashem came from Sinai, V'zorch mi har seir, V'zorch mi seir lomo, Alfim har poron. Ato amar to lem yukach. He said, yukach no mine, take some water. V'nachum mitzvahs Pesach. Shenemar v'yichu lem ishseh. They have a mitzvah Pesach to purchase the sheep. Ato amar to lem no. Please, and you know, saying Levanech mitzvahs Pesach, I'll talk men no. No means it's not fully cooked. Atomat ma'at, a small amount of water, and the agarish shonei ma'at. I will drive the enemies out of Canaan slowly. Shonei ma'at agrishem banecho. Atomat ma'im. He offered water. And he knows he'll have midbar. That's the wellspring of Miriam, the midbar. Ali bear. Wash your feet because he believed they were idolaters. And the erchatz called tuma. I will cleanse you from all spiritual impurity. Shenemar imrochatz Hashem es tzoas b'nosion. He removed the feces, meaning the spiritual feces, from the daughters of Zion. And I will give you the mitzvah sukkah to correspond to the protection of the tree. The chsiv tzu haor v'avi olay al Isaiah Shemoneh lots of sukkos. Ata amarta v'ekra pas lechem ani nos hini matil lechem lechem. This is the moment. Ato lakachto chemo v'cholov. You took butter and milk, and you also lechem chemes boker chalver. Okay, mikan shon chachomim. Rashi cites this. Shatzadikim omen ma'at v'osen harbe. A tzaddik says very little, but he delivers enormous amount. Shamalem Avraham epcha pas lechem. V'sadu libchem. He says, take a morsel of bread and satisfy yourself. But what did he actually serve them? Shlosha shvorim v'tesha soim. Goes and makes a whole calculation here.
Rabbi, the Masay was similar with the
About, we find by in the Parshat Vayeira, Nosati Shalom Boretz. After it says you can have bounty beyond your imagination. That says when Nosati Shalom Boretz, and I will bring peace to the land. So Rashi cites Chazal over there. If you have no peace, you can have everything. The world means nothing. If you have peace, you have everything. A person, you can have food, you can have water, but if you have nothing to protect you from the elements, you're nowhere. So the most significant thing that Avraham provided is first you have to come out of the sun. You should be protected by the shade of the tree. That's the first thing. And now we'll talk about providing with other amenities, food, water, whatever it is. But first you have to come out, you have to be protected from the elements. So therefore that was primary. I mean, that's what I would say. And it did. In the Midbar, we protected from not only the sun and the heat of the sun in the desert, the snakes, the scorpions. There was no such thing as an incline. There was no such thing going down or going up. Everything was leveled to accommodate us in every level of accommodation. That's what the Anek Covenant provided. Okay.
Rabbi.
What are you saying of Vayar? He lifted his eyes and he saw Vine Shlosha Anoshim Nitzovim Olov. Vayar, Vayoratz the Grosso, Mipesach oil. He saw them and he ran from the entrance of his tent. And he prostrated himself. Okay, it's interesting. There's a question in the Medrash. These three wayfarers, what did they look like? Did they look like three stragglers? Did they look like three princes? But let's say they were stragglers. I mean, these people, they appear that they don't have two cents to rub together. They have nothing. Avram, who's Avram? Avram is a man who has tremendous wealth. He's a man who's a victor. He defeated the 4 kings. That's who he is. He has a level of renown. And he himself is running, getting all excited, running to these people. And he prostrates himself. What's prostrating? Prostration is a total negation. I'm nothing in your presence. I mean, Avraham could have he had slaves who could have accommodated them and welcomed them. But here, he's doing everything himself to the point, I am dust before your feet. What's going on over here? Why? This level of negation to this point and a level of servitude, it's not to be believed. We're not finished. Vayomar, and he says to them, there's a question whether it is the name of Hashem or means masters. If I please find favor in your eyes, I'll know tabor. Please don't leave the presence of your servant. Hear this? Avraham is referring to himself as if he's their servant. Please, you got no mayim, raktu raglechem, vishonu tachseitz, ve'chapas lechem, sadu libchem, and then you could go on, ki alkein avartem v'avtechem, because you came into the presence of your servant. V'yomer kein tasek shelibadim. Do as you're requesting. What's this all about? So I always said this in the past. It's not the first time we're saying it. A person comes to you with a great idea, an opportunity. You know, nobody gives away opportunities. There's always a certain degree of suspect that you're trying to sell me a bill of goods here. So the moment you make a presentation, although it sounds attractive, subconsciously, immediately you put up every level of barrier not to be drawn into this, because you want to try to make an evaluation Because maybe the one who's making the offer, he has some ulterior motive, and he wants to pull the wool over your eyes. And it's his interest, not your interest. Okay? Avraham, what about if you recognize that the person bringing you the opportunity, it's only in your interest, has nothing to do with his interest, no ulterior motive? Then the person, and if it is something really special, the person will take it, will embrace it. Avraham Avinu understood this. Avraham Avinu offers a level of respect and value, acknowledging them as somebody special. So they ask themselves, what does this make sense? Nobody's ever treated us like this. At any level. Avraham Avinu must have a reason. What is his reason? Is it he needs our wealth? He doesn't need our wealth. Is he concerned because he's afraid of us? We could harm him. Not possible. He defeated the four mighty world powers. He's not afraid of us. Does he need acknowledgement? He already was declared the Prince of God by the world. He needs nothing. So why is he doing it? It must be he sees something special in us. When a person feels value to that degree, then you have a direct opening to touch that man's heart, and he's fully attentive because he understands that your interest is him. When a person feels his interest is himself, he's fully open to embrace whatever you have to offer. And Avraham had something to offer which was irrefutable. As a result of that, every time Avraham did his hospitality, he always succeeded. No one ever left his tent who entered as a pagan did not leave as a monotheist for that reason. So all this interaction, the way he's treating the guests, it's to strip away any reason why they should think for a moment that it's not them. That's why his level of hospitality is within this context.